Welcome back. Episode whatever this is, revisited. Harry Potter kind of ruined the channel, and so we're doing more Harry Potter.
Why did it ruin the channel?
Because it ruined us.
That's different.
We are the channel, so
the channel could thrive without us.
I don't understand. Are we training AI bots to take us?
Would just take.
They really would. KLX would hop on this bit in a second.
Nah, I think they get bored of it pretty fast.
It depends on what they're talking about. To ask Corey about in Marvel Rivals, that addicted piece of.
Every time I go downstairs, he's playing it.
Yeah. So we're talking about Harry Potter. Why Order of the Phoenix is my least favorite Harry Potter book. Out of the 7, you gotta emphasize that part because there's one other book, quote unquote,
in Cursed Child. We got a problem. Then it's just like, whoa,
which
but
is
that's a screenplay. So yeah, you gotta put that
again. One of the worst things I have ever consumed.
Factual statement.
Yeah.
5 is still my favorite. 5 I still think is the best.
I think 5 is the best, but it's not my favorite. It's just
that's 4. We all know that. That opinion is stuck. You know, you're like me, where as a young one, you decided on something, and then as an older person, you were just like, "Yep, I had the correct opinion because I'm smart and I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about." And we both on the same page.
If nothing else, we both knew 6 was trash from the jump.
Yes, thankfully, at the very least.
But yeah, 5 I still think is the best book of them all. It has the most characterization of our main characters. It has the most. So I felt 4, 6, and 7 had a lot of things where where characters were doing things, but it was a lot of wasted time. And by wasted time, I mean it contributes nothing to who the character is. It contributes nothing to what the plot is.
It's just kind of spinning the wheels. That in Harry and Ron, that was like a quarter of the book that falling out in 4.
Yeah.
Like, come on with this.
And even with that, you got the stuff like Ludo Bagman, which, again, contributes practically nothing to the entirety of the book. You take that character out, you move some things around. Basically, nothing changes.
Basically the same. Better.
But I can't say that for Harry Potter 5. I think this book, as far as her lengthier books, has everything used within it is in service of a thing. And I am not a person that needs things to be in service of. I don't need them to be in service of a thing. I can watch a character just sit there and watch a TV show and enjoy themselves. And I can be totally fine with that. But I saw one of the timestamps was pacing. So I can't imagine.
Especially considering this month is a 6 fan.
6 is ghoul awful. We've moved past God. We've transcended that. We've dropped letters off it. Ghoul awful.
So, just by itself, 5 is my least favorite. It's like, all right, well, and then 6 is my favorite. That you got to take those two,
flip them around
at the same time. You just got, well, this doesn't really make sense anymore.
It's very much like the Team 4-star, where the Broly review is fine on its own, but coupled with that Stampede review, it's like you're criticizing the same things you praise, or you praise the same. It's a 2-part thing here. So never forget, MovieFlame's favorite book of the 7 is the 6th book, which is, and I do not use this term lightly, objectively the worst book. Description, boys?
There is no description.
Beautiful. Then I guess we just get right into it. Let's hit that playback, because it's been quite a while since we've done this. And let's hit that play button.
That's rubbish! That's rubbish! Now, I know a lot of people might be triggered just reading the title of this video, so I'm going to start off by saying that I in no way dislike the Order of the Phoenix book. I actually love this book, but out of the 7 in the series, I enjoyed this one the least, and in this video, I'm going to explain why I think that is. On top of that, I feel I have to say that it's okay if you disagree with me. Everyone has their own opinion.
Oh my goodness.
I realized we did not say that. We said nothing like that. We went right into our opinion and bit about Harry Potter for 10 hours.
Oh boy, was it a 10 hours.
And like you said, we didn't even get everything out. Because we basically glossed over the 6th book, because a lot of our 6 books criticisms were in the MovieFlame one.
I had a whole thing about the paintings that I wanted to talk about. I had a bunch of little things.
I basically gave up on my notes and let you do yours.
And it was just like, I was like, this is going to get hopefully 4 hours. And if it doesn't, I have stuff like the wand stuff. We can go over the ministry and the levels about all those and what they do. I had things. It was like, once we can pad this out.
Once we're 3.5 hours in and we haven't finished the 2nd book.
Like, oh no, I misjudged.
Talked about the book being my least favorite in several videos, and every time I say it, there's at least one person in the comment section saying it's actually their favorite, which is honestly amazing.
But if you say that about anything, and you are a channel that gets between 500,000 and 1 million views, so of course you're gonna get somebody saying something.
And a lot of people agree. You're probably gonna get 120 thumbs up on that comment.
It's not surprising at all that any one of these 7 things is somebody's favorite. You go to an artist with 9 albums, and somebody will be like, track 3 of album 2, that's the one for me.
And other mubs are like, no. The same thing happened with the Kendrick album that came out recently. Mubs are like, Peekaboo sucked. I'm like, that's the best song on an album. You're gonna get people of all walks of life.
Story of the year where they're just like, well, Wolves is fine. I'm like, it's the best thing y'all done.
Artists that created the thing.
What are you doing?
If there's one person you can't argue with, it's the mom that done created the thing.
Sucks. I can't be I've seen them twice in a meet and greet. Twice or 3 times? Twice in a meet and greet. I'm just like, play Sleep. Do something with Sleep, because it's one of my favorite songs in anything ever of all time. It's like, we don't even remember that. I'm like, oh yeah. So yeah, whatever the case may be, people, given a large enough sample size, you will get anything.
Dissenting opinions.
These covers are better, except for that Dumbledore. I think we talked about that in his other
I don't know. Chamber of Secrets is looking kind of.
Oh yeah, they're
looking a little dirty.
They gotta zoom in. They zoomed out too far. They just just put a circle for the eye. That's fine.
Because there's so many Harry Potter fans out there, and everyone looks at these books differently. It really shows how vast the Harry Potter fandom is, and how much the series means to us. Everyone having their own opinion on every little thing.
Dude, Deathly Hallows looks terrible.
This is not a praise for Harry Potter, because if you look at the popularity polls of My Hero or whatever, you'll get people with like 2 or 3 votes. Everybody is somebody's favorite. This means nothing. This doesn't speak to the diversity.
You can have a fandom of 1,000 people, and somebody is somebody's favorite out of that 1,000 people.
They're just trying to hype it up.
So now that that's said, I'm going to break down why I personally enjoyed this book the least out of the 7 in the series. Because as I said, I've mentioned this in several videos, and I've gotten so many people asking why I think that, and the time has finally come for me to say why that is. Now obviously there are going to be major spoilers for this book and the rest of the series, so there's your warning. Also, I know this is a book review, but I'm going to use clips from the movies because I think it will just make the video more pleasing for you guys to watch. Before we start, I just wanted to say that I'm going to stop using the YouTube community tab as much as I have.
The other one?
Yes, he did.
been and start
I'm pretty sure these were within like 2 or 3 months of each other.
Using other platforms more so that the MovieFlame brand extends past just YouTube, just in case the worst happened and I lost the channel or something. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, which is the most important, because that will sort of replace the YouTube community tab. I'll be posting the most updates there, and that's linked down below. You can also follow us on Facebook, and if you want, you can follow my personal Instagram as well, which is full of cute dogs, behind the scenes MovieFlame stuff, and some fun Harry Potter posts.
This came out in February 2020, and the Half-Blood Prince one came out in March 2020.
A month apart.
Both of those are linked down below as well. Now let's get started.
This is it.
So as I said, I don't dislike this
2 minutes in before we actually get into the video.
And he's repeating himself about how he doesn't dislike the book. It's just some
I don't mind preamble of, hey, this is what the video is going to be about, or even your history with the piece of medium. This is so much time to get into the video.
Book. I actually like it a lot, but I'm not here to talk about why this book is good. I'm here to talk about the flaws I see in it. I've gone through the Harry Potter series too many times to count, and every single time I do, I get...
How could you?
There are people that still love it, and we are just simply not those people anymore.
But surely
what? What, DA?
The amount of questions.
That's the thing. Are people asking questions?
They should.
Are they asking the right question?
They should be. That's all I'm saying. It's difficult to overlook things in these books.
Yes.
The flaws I see in it. I've gone through...
It's hard to overlook things in these books if you're a person that does analysis and you believe you have media literacy.
Because they are crazy everywhere.
If you're just a person, even in your 40s going, these are just fun books and I think nothing of it past that. How could I ever fault you?
No.
But this person is analyzing the media.
Your job.
You should not be consuming these this many times and still thinking these are good pieces of media.
The Harry Potter series too many times to count, and every single time I do, I get stuck on this book. I don't know what it is, but I fly through the rest in the series, but this one just always leaves me wanting to stop reading or listening to the audiobooks and give up. As a lot of you know, I'm going through the series right now for my Harry Potter film video essays, and once again, I got stuck on this book. Honestly, the only reason I finished it this time around was because I knew I was making this video and had to write the script, and I actually announced this video just a...
We're not into the video yet.
Yeah, we're not into the video. We're into the history of the video, kinda.
Force myself to finish the book.
Brilliant.
One of the biggest flaws this novel has is...
That is a good cover. Oh, I think that's one of the covers. Nope, I use a different one, I think. That is a good cover.
It's the pacing. J.K. Rowling herself said that she regretted adding as much as she did to this book, saying it was too beefy and too long. She wished that she had shortened it and cut some things out that were unnecessary.
Then why did she write that 7th book?
Yeah, really.
Why did she write that 6th book?
Oh, but the 4th book was fine?
And I have to agree with her.
I would like to know what she would have cut out.
Yes.
What was too beefy?
What did she spend too much time on?
Book is by far the longest in the series, and there's a lot of fluff that could have been cut, especially in the beginning of the book. I feel like the first 2 chapters, Dudley Demented and A Peck of Owls, could have been condensed into one chapter and have the same effect, and maybe even be better. The first chapter in a book is the most important one, because it's what draws the audience in. I think the novel would have been much better.
The second chapter being much shorter, absolutely. I agree that could have happened. It's a lot of regurgitating information.
Yeah, but even still, we're losing, what, 2 pages?
If we're losing 7 pages out of the book, that's not really a pacing issue.
Yeah.
Better if it started off the way the movie did, with Harry all alone. In the book, however...
No, he's looking for news about Voldemort, and he's just like, what's going on? There are no killings.
Nobody's talking to me, no nothing.
Nobody's talking to me. There's no reports about mysterious disappearances they're reporting on in dolphins.
It started off
it's just that confusion of what is he doing, and that leads into we know what Voldemort's doing. He's looking for the prophecy so he can do it right this time, and he's trying to stay secret.
And he's frustrated, so he's trying to take it out on Dudley, and he waits till Dudley's alone, just like, hey, I'm jabbing at you. Whereas here, Dudley is really the antagonistic force, and Harry's just like, yo. Dudley only spoke about that because Harry was having a go at him.
Which is crazy, baby boy Harry. Once Dudley gives it back, doesn't punch him or anything, uses his words, and he's just like, don't you do that, and threatens him.
With Harry all alone. In the book, however, it started off with Harry listening to the news and eavesdropping on his aunt and uncle, then getting into a fight with his aunt and uncle, and then he finally goes off on his own. I think the book—
Yeah, we don't get the Mundungus Fletcher doing that.
Yeah, he got into a fight because it was that big bang. And then we realized what that bang was later, and it plays into it.
Book would have benefited greatly if it had just cut all of that out and had it start with Harry by himself. And as Harry was alone, JK—
He did not say why we could lose that. Just that this was better.
It would have been better.
Could have caught us up through Harry's thoughts, talking about how everyone was leaving him in the dark all summer.
Hey, also, that is literally show versus telling. That is rule 1. And he's just like, just have him thinking about, what?
So by having Harry be alone, it would have highlighted his loneliness even more.
He was in a bush.
Yeah, he was sitting in a bush, not able to get the news because he was going to get yelled at. And then he walks alone in playground.
Getting no news from his friends. It's good stuff.
Down, and by just removing one more thing, it could have cut the chapter in half, and that is cutting Dudley's friends out and just have it be Harry and Dudley who then get attacked by the Dementors.
No, because you see Dudley with his friends versus Dudley by himself. Those are two different people, the way that he acts.
And it's hard to really recognize how much he changes in the 7th book if you don't see the piece of garbage he was in the 5th book, because even then, he could be justified in antagonizing Harry and punching him because Harry had his wand out and then he felt a Dementor, which he cannot see.
The second half of the chapter could have been the outpost scene where he gets expelled.
You're not explaining why this is better. You're just going make it shorter.
We lose to friends.
Entire chapter dedicated to just letter after letter, and one of the reasons why I think Rowling added this was because it worked so well in the 3rd book in the chapter called Outpost. But the difference between these two chapters is that in the 3rd book, Outpost was the very first chapter, and she used the letters as a way of catching us up on Harry's life. But in the 5th book, this doesn't work, because it was put in a place where the action had long since started, an entire Dementor attack taking place.
No, the action stopped, and now we're worried about Harry, because the first one's just like, you're expelled. The second one's like, well, you're not really expelled, but do not get rid of your wand. And the third one's the howler of, get the out. No, do not. And then we get the Petunia stuff of, and you get to wonder what's going on with that. There's a lot of things going. It's not just the letters. It's an escalation of things.
I'm trying to find this JK interview about the 5th book, and I'm just not finding it.
Many conversations and fights had taken place as well, so the focus on the letters sort of slows the action and excitement down. Had they combined Sirius and Arthur's letters, which basically said the same thing, and combined the 2 Ministry letters into one, they could have saved so much time and combined the Dementor attack
No, you can't combine the two, because the first Ministry letter is you are expelled, and then the second one was just like upon further review, you are not expelled.
Because he was about to leave with his wand, start fighting, and the first letter goes, do not fight, do not surrender your wand, and then the second Ministry letter is, hey, you're not expelled, we're gonna review it, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna leave.
And it says something that Arthur, coming from a Ministry perspective, is like, okay, do not do this, you know, we're handling this. And then Sirius, from a Godfather's perspective, being like, I'm worried about you, don't up.
Letters in the same chapter, but driving the excitement from the Dementor attack into the Howler and making all of this happen in the first chapter would have made for one of the most exciting openings in any of the Harry Potter books and gotten the reader super engaged.
you can't talk about that when the 6th book starts with the Muggle minister just talking to Fudge.
But it's about things that happened. It's just like the bridge collapsed, and that is telling versus showing, which is what he wanted, so he's cool with it.
Unbelievable.
In the span of one chapter, and in the most important chapter. And going off of that, this book takes forever to start the actual plot. We don't get to Hogwarts until halfway through chapter 10. This opening alone before we get to Hogwarts is more than half of the book in the first series, which is—
But that's irrelevant though, because we get a lot with Sirius, who's going to die in this one, so we get a lot of characterization with him, his frustrations about being left out of the Order of the Phoenix. We get the Order of the Phoenix, all of the stuff that they're dealing with. We get updates on Voldemort. We get the house cleaning, which is just, I just love that stuff. And we get so we're just supposed to cut out the trial?
We're supposed to cut out the trial or cut down the trial. We're supposed to cut out the house cleaning or cut down the house cleaning. So the locket, I guess we just put that in book 6 or something.
You're acting like the plot starts once we step foot in Hogwarts, when it just does not. The plot starts when the plot starts.
17 chapters, and that book had the task of setting up the entire Wizarding World for the reader.
But they didn't!
No, they did a poor job of
This is the only wizard bank. They don't establish the money conversion rate. They just go, this is Diagon Alley. It's just a bunch of shops.
You can get everything here. Here's the wand place. Here's the owl and pet place.
You need robes.
Here's potion place.
What did we set up here?
There are shops in an alley.
The 5th book drags on in Grimmauld Place with them cleaning up the house, which I think is so boring. And the whole—
DA, how do you feel about what he just said?
Poorly.
Oh. It's not boring. It's very interesting. If nothing else, it sets up creatures we don't really get to see. Or not sets up, but explores creatures we really don't get to see. But it's very fun to see the dynamic of everybody that typically you do not get to see the dynamic of. How many times in a book is Fred and George going to interact with Harry? Who is the titular character? Like, before the 4th book, where they just kept stumbling upon them, I may have had 3 interactions altogether.
The Marauders map. Yeah,
getting Harry.
They are sparse. But again, we're talking about up until this point where he goes, lose the first chapter, lose parts of the second chapter. We've got like 10 pages that we've cut.
of them cleaning was to set up them finding the Horcrux, but why would you spend so much time setting something like that up? You could have just had them find it and explained how they found it in one page, especially because we're not even told what the locket was.
Because then if you go, we have found this one thing, that's just like, okay, this is the important thing that we need to remember.
Or even if it was like, we threw away blank, blank, a locket and blank.
Here. We're not told that until 2 books later. There are literally 2 chapters dedicated.
And the purpose of that is just like, oh, that thing, that one little one-off, they tried to open it, they couldn't, so they threw it away.
And named to focus on this grimy old house. And me personally, I don't want to see this. I want to see my fictional home, the thing that's all Harry Potter.
And that is a hashtag catalyst, man. Stop all this boring.
Why be in one magical place that I don't know when I can go to the magical place that I do know?
This is my home. Do you hear the music? Finally! The sweeping shots of Hogwarts with the music. Shut up.
How much magical stuff goes on in Hogwarts? Or is it more about the characters interacting with that magical stuff in Hogwarts?
What is it about Hogwarts that makes it your home, that you want to go back to? Because surely that would also be in Grimmauld Place. Terrible name, by the way. Terrible name.
Home. I want to see Hogwarts. And at the very least, I want to see them doing something besides cleaning a house. Rowling could have easily cut so much from the beginning of the book and just highlighted the important things we needed to see, like the Black family tree, Harry's introduction to the Order of the Phoenix.
Okay, so if we're just going stuff that we only need to see, all of these books are getting cut in half.
4 to 7 easily getting cut in half.
Because there's a lot of stuff that we do not need to see. We don't need to see constantly Harry in the 6th book getting good at potions and blah, 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 just constantly over and over. We don't need to see that. If we're talking about need to see. Stories aren't just a point A to point B. Mm-hmm. This is everything, all the information. There's nothing that we don't need.
And did he feel nothing about going to the ministry?
I think this is what this is.
And of course the Ministry of Magic. But all of this could have been done in 2 or 3 chapters. There are just so many unnecessary details that add nothing to the story, and it really makes the book drag on. If you look at other books in the series, specifically my favorite book, The Half-Blood Prince, it's the same amount of story, and maybe even more than the Order of the Phoenix, but it's significantly shorter because the pacing is really well done, and this keeps the
No, it had less to do!
Yes.
The 6th book has nothing going on.
It's got the Horcruxes stuff.
It's got what is Draco doing?
Get his memory.
This in Ron Hermione bush. This in Harry Ginny bush. This in Tonks bush.
But the school is being taken over. They are not being allowed to learn the things that will help them survive.
They go home to a nightmare. Their home being Hogwarts.
You're engaged without boring them with unnecessary detail.
No, I was bored AF with the 6th book.
Because Ginny's just not a character.
There are no characters.
The Ron and Hermione thing just, it doesn't feel natural.
It feels like it's out of nowhere, even though it's quote unquote set up since the 4th book. It feels out of nowhere. It was just his friends. Hermione's crying over it. Just tell the dude you like him then. If you like him so much that you're willing to ask out a dude you don't like that's trying to fill you up and make out with you all Christmas party, how about you just have a conversation?
That would solve quite a lot. And it's not like she isn't an outspoken person.
Actively outspoken. She's the one that initiated the kiss.
So, just why not? It's just not the time yet.
And I guess we get no exploration really in the 4th book nor 5th book. It's all contained here. All the Harry and Ginny stuff contained here. Talks contained here.
Crazy bars with Tonks. No indication of Remus and Tonks. That's fine. Hey, cut that.
Yeah, cut that.
Why do we need that? Literally.
Oh, she said about the thing in chapters with Hermione explaining the Half-Blood Prince being Snape and the mother and all that. Why do we need it?
Cut it.
Cut it. Cut that. Cut any part of the Dursleys in the beginning. Why? So Dumbledore can go, y'all sucked. I gave y'all a task and y'all trash.
I like that.
And then, all right, we leave.
I like that.
Sure, but cut it. What does it do?
Yeah, if we're talking about what does it do, and we're talking about efficiency, we're cutting pages. We need to get to Hogwarts. Let's go.
It should open with Dumbledore dialogue and Harry going, I spent less than a fortnight in the Unbreakable Vow.
No.
Oh, the Muggle Minister.
No, it starts with Harry on the train going, I sure did get Slughorn with Dumbledore.
Wait till you guys see the new teacher.
did. You open the book and it starts playing.
Yeah, one of them old that had the music box.
Another thing that really bothered me was the way Sirius acted in this book. Now, I know I can't say that this isn't how Sirius should be, because J.K. Rowling knows every little detail about all of her characters.
Nope, that is the worst possible way to look at this. Because what if Harry, Ron gets crushed under a rock, he's like, help me, Harry, and goes, and he starts teabagging him. It's like, well, I guess J.K. Rowling knows best because she wrote him. No, the characters need to act consistently. No matter what Arthur, I say Arthur, and we're going with Arthur. No matter what the Arthur does.
For me to say that Sirius doesn't act like Sirius in this novel might come off as me being automatically wrong, but I'm going to explain. Sirius Black was introduced in The Prisoner of Azkaban, and here, while he was on the run and the most wanted man alive, he put his entire life at risk to get Harry a new broomstick after his old one.
He did not put his entire life at risk. He said that he had Crookshanks walk into the store with a slip of paper saying, take the money out of this account and give him a broom and take it to Harry Potter. He did not walk into the broom place going,
me, Sirius, me. Sirius Black. One firebolt, please.
Your finest firebolt, please.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Broke.
But here's the difference. He was allowed to be out and do those things. The issue is he feels very cooped up in Grimmauld Place. And the question is, why is he confined to Grimmauld Place? When in the fourth book, he wasn't.
Especially when you have Polyjuice. When you can apparently just transfigure your face into somebody else. They did it in the seventh book where they grew a beard on Ron and turned his features a little bit. Not counting the Cursed Child where they transformed.
Of course, we're not.
Into Voldemort.
All into Voldemort, all the way.
Yep. And then that only lasted for a couple minutes.
My child!
Yo, so trash! But yeah, there are plenty of things that they could have done to let him get out there.
Yeah, if anything, the criticism should be that he's cooped up with no real reason given, and it's just a catalyst for his mania
and recklessness.
Yes. If that's a criticism you want to levy, I'll absolutely listen to that. But just he shouldn't be this way. No, that's not good enough. Sorry.
Especially considering in the third book, we don't get too much of his personality because he's just in his mania of trying to kill Pettigrew. And then he's just kind of soft to Harry going, you can live with you if you want. The fourth book, he's just giving out advice and what's going on.
What do we know about Sirius Black?
What do we know?
Enough to go, this is not how Sirius Black would act.
Because if we go, yeah, he was a little douchebag when he was younger. James mellowed out. So do we also assume that he mellowed out? He's petty because he's still just going there snivelous. But yeah, what do we know about him? That's why I don't really like Sirius that much. Because we don't know who he is outside of
Cool Uncle.
Cool Uncle. Hey, I'm giving you advice. When.
And to do this, he had to take steps that could have easily revealed his location, especially if someone realized that the money was coming out of his vault and then shipping to Hogwarts.
Yeah! Hey, why didn't they? Maybe we should question that.
We're not questioning it right
We're
there.
not questioning that. He got the firebolt from that account, whatever. Them in goblins, they don't care.
They don't
money
care.
in, money out.
That's high key. They opened up vault for basically Voldemort. They give accounts to Nazis. They don't care.
He also risked his identity by stepping onto the Hogwarts grounds to watch Harry fly in his Quidditch match.
Oh, he didn't really, because he was a dog and nobody knew he was an animagus. Yes. So I don't know how he would risk his identity there.
I was about to say the Dementors, but they can't tell dog feelings.
It's not as complex as humans, so it doesn't feel the same.
So they wouldn't go after him.
And at the time, the grounds were flooded with pretty much the whole school, and he knew that Lupin was working there, and that Lupin knew his Animagus form. In the Goblet of Fire...
Lupin was working there, but he would have to spot him. He would also have to recognize from far away that is the dog when he doesn't have... They constantly talk about McGonagall and her markings. They talk about Rita and her beetle markings around her eyes. They've never said anything about Sirius's markings. So you could just be like, that is a big black dog. Sirius, it has escaped, so that could be him. By the time you go over there, he's already gone.
Yeah.
After finding out that Harry was in the Triwizard Tournament, Sirius once again risked being captured as he traveled halfway around the world to make it back to Hogwarts so he could protect Harry. Clearly, he would have gone to any length to protect and be with Harry. But now, let's look at the Order of the Phoenix. When the two are finally reunited...
Yeah, the other two times, Dumbledore wasn't telling him, sit the down.
He is under direct orders from Dumbledore. Do you disobey that?
Because if you do... Get the
okay, man. I see what kind of person that you are. I'm trying to get rid of this Voldemort muff, and you can't sit around for a couple days?
United after many months, Sirius barely acknowledges Harry, instead screaming at his mother's painting, telling her to shut up, then says very grimly...
He does! They talk quite a bit!
Yeah.
Unexcited, grimly, "Hello, Harry. I see you've met my mother." They then discuss his mother and his family.
That was the first time that they interacted in this book.
That's what he said.
So what's the criticism?
The criticism was that he wasn't excited to see Harry. He said grimly, "You've met my mother."
Yeah, he's pissed
about his mom, and it overshadowed.
Go back, because he said something about a couple months.
It's been a couple months since he's seen him, and he's not excited to see him. Instead, he grimly says, "Hello, Harry. Nice to see you. I see you met my mother."
Okay, so if one of our cousins come up in here, and we haven't seen them in a while, and one of the cats crap in our shoes,
unfortunately, the shoe takes precedent.
we can deal with this, and then okay, now that I've dealt with this thing that I do not like, and it is a negative for me. Now we can go over. You wanted him shooting off fire? Come on now, dude. This is such.
Yeah, when we were living away from the old house, and we went to a barbecue that Bruce was hosting. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's been a year since we've seen it. I was like, what's good?
I don't normally talk about this, but this is a pure and simple nitpick. This means nothing.
Climactic reunion. This is one of those things that I said happens so much in the Order of the Phoenix movie, where I find myself liking the film version better than the book.
He held out his arms and hugged him. What's the difference? Well, the dialogue.
The reunion is touching and puts a smile on your face. But here, Sirius is just so dull and not at all happy to see Harry.
He's unhappy, period.
Yes.
Which seems out of character based on the examples I just gave from the other books, where clearly Sirius...
Hey, when they met in that cave, when they brought him food, how did he react? Was he super happy despite knowing that bullshit was going on at Hogwarts to see Harry, or did he start eating that food?
He did start eating that food.
He sniffed the food, licked Harry's palm or something, and then started going to town.
Chicken.
Sirius was going to any length to make Harry happy with the broomstick, and doing anything he could to protect and be with Harry, traveling all the way back to Hogwarts, and while there, he lived in the mountains in Hogsmeade and lived on rats. Shortly after
No, that was not for Harry, that was for Peter Pettigrew. So don't act like in the third book, he was just, oh, Harry, I can't believe... No, it was to catch Peter and kill him. Because when they all are met up, he's not like, Harry, my boy, I'm your godfather. It's, give me that rat, because he's dead. In the front of the Whomping Willow, what did he do? He went after Ron. Because he had the rat.
The rat.
So don't act like this was all for Harry.
That is a gross mischaracterization.
He is a vengeful, spiteful dude.
Here is a literal line. This is after, hasn't anyone told you? This is my parents' house serious, but I'm the last black, so it's mine now. I offered to Dumbledore for headquarters about the only useful thing I've been able to do. Harry, who has expected a better welcome, noted how hard and bitter Sirius's voice sounded.
Even the book acknowledges it and points it out, which further speaks to his isolation and his irritation at what he can and cannot do. And Harry's meanness of the.
So it's this is
the characters.
Yes,
this is the story being told the way she wants it told. I hit the thing.
They discussed Harry's lousy summer and the Dementor attack, a very scary and traumatic incident for Harry, and Sirius shows no sympathy for his godson. When Harry tells him his summer was lousy, hoping for some comfort, Sirius tells him that he doesn't know what he was complaining about, as he would have welcomed the Dementor attack. He then completely dismissed—
Yes, they're both being hurt for different reasons, and they can't reach each other right now, because they're both— I'd rather be out there. Well, I'd rather be here getting news.
Yeah, they're both looking at it from a different perspective.
Grass is greener, bush.
This is Harry's problems, and whines about how his problems are worse, as he isn't allowed to step outside. He's comparing a Dementor attack that almost made Harry and Dudley get their souls sucked out to him not being allowed to go outside.
No, he's talking about getting action, being able to do thing, not just the Dementor thing. You can talk about him being a little whiny piss baby about it, but absolutely he's bored. And as we've seen, if this was pre-2020, I would be really in with this rhetoric. But as we saw with coronavirus, with COVID,
them
moms
got stir
crazy after just a few weeks of being in the house, when they've got every comfort available, when they can still get food, and when they still have people coming over, or they live with people or whatever, they still went crazy. So a dude that has been basically free for 2 years going, now you have to stay in this house at all times
while everybody else is risking their life.
And all you do is hear reports about it.
And Snape is coming up in here giving you snide little comments about, sit down like a good boy. Personally, I would have welcomed a Dementor attack. A deadly struggle for my soul would have broken the monotony nicely. You think you've had it bad. At least you've been able to get out and about, stretch your legs, get into a few fights. I've been stuck in here for a month.
Sirius is a old man in Arrested Development who has never moved past his high school age jock phase of let me bully the nerd snivellers, let me get into a couple scraps at the bar, that type of bush. He is not a man that can sit down and just look at a wall and be good.
He feels he has talents that are better suited out there than just simply being, you are a house, you are a location for us to be in. Because when you look at it, he's not giving report. There's nothing that he's doing. He's sitting in their meetings, but he's not like out there spying.
Yeah, the best he can do is offer opinions.
But he's not doing anything to help other than giving them a seat.
Imagine your family is planning an event. And they're putting up all the banners and setting up all the tables. And they tell you, no, just sit down. We'll talk about how hard we're having it. We'll do all this stuff. But you just sit in that corner. Do you feel like you could sit in that corner while they set these things out for 2-3 hours? I would feel like.
Or if it's just like an old lady lugging a bunch of dumbbells. And they're like, don't help her. And you're like, I can help her. I have the strength to do so. Mm-hmm. If I was simply to just get up and go over there, I could help her. And they're like, no, don't do it. And it's like, there's no reason why you can't do it.
comparing how Harry was alone all summer, left in the dark by his closest friends, to how he can't leave the house, but meanwhile is surrounded by those closest to him.
Everyone feels like their situation is the worst.
Yes.
In certain, not all the time, but if somebody's just like, I lost $50 when I was gambling, and you just go, I didn't even have $50 to begin with. You both are coming at it at a loss.
Lamenting the whatever plight you have.
But both are bad, but both of you guys are going to see yourselves as having the worst outcome.
I'd rather have the frivolous money to have it. Well, I'd rather have the money I gambled away and blah, 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 whatever.
I know this is hard for Sirius, as he always wants to be in the action, but he shows no sympathy at all for his godson. And Hermione had it right when she said that Sirius was selfish, something that is quite the
Yes, because he is a selfish dude. Even with the third book, a lot of the time, with the fourth book, going out and trying to go to the cave and all that, he could have just kept doing what he was doing, but no, he wanted to be there. No, nice try, Harry. I'm coming. I don't care. Was he being selfless there to protect Harry, or was he being selfish so he could be at the heart of the action?
When he could have just gotten owls. They've been getting to him.
Opposite in the last two books, especially when it came to Harry. Now let's look at one scene.
You have exactly one example. You cannot go like in Harry. No, you can't do that. You have one example when he has a lot of money, a considerable amount. If we're taking the
your fave book,
a considerable amount. So just giving him that, it means essentially nothing.
Movie versus the book. In the movie, I'm discussing the scene where
I don't care. I don't care about the verses. This is information outside of you reading the book. Period.
You are using the media of the movie. You just go, this is how it could be done better, instead of explaining it with your own words.
Sirius talks to Harry after his dream where he was the snake, and after Harry says that he thinks he's a bad person, Sirius tells him that he's not a bad person, but a good person that bad things have happened to. This in turn calms Harry down and makes him feel better, and Sirius hugs him, saying that they were family. Comparing the same conversation in the book, Sirius just disregards everything Harry says, telling him that he needed sleep, that it was just a dream, and that his anger meant nothing, and finished by telling him to stop worrying. He's no help to Harry whatsoever, and in turn makes Harry struggle worse. Sirius could have
lived. But that feels more like course correcting of, we need to make this guy the cool uncle.
Yeah, so when he dies, you really, really feel it.
Really calmed him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go back to the actual lines.
To Harry whatsoever, and in turn makes Harry struggle worse. Sirius could.
Nope. Still more.
You need to sleep. Okay, there we are.
You're in shock. Harry. You're blaming yourself for something you only witnessed, and it's lucky you did witness it, or Arthur may have been dead. Just stop worrying. He's acting like a parent here, actually, where you've been up this whole time. You've been worrying that you did this. No, you just saw it. You're in shock. You need rest.
Sirius, can I have a quick word now? He told his grandfather every detail, his godfather. When he paused for breath, Sirius said, "Did you tell Dumbledore this?" "Yes," Harry said impatiently. "But he didn't tell me what it meant." "Well, he doesn't tell me anything anymore." "I'm sure he would have told you if it was anything to worry about." That makes a whole lot of sense. But that's not it. But that's not all. Sirius, I think I'm going mad. Back in Dumbledore's office when we took the port key for a couple seconds there, I felt like a snake. Blah, 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 blah. He could only see a sliver of Sirius's face. The rest was in darkness. "It must have been the aftermath of the vision. That's all," said Sirius.
You were still thinking of the dream, and we're here now. With the information on screen.
I mean, that's a big departure between I think I'm a bad person. You're like, you're not a bad person, Hug. And I was a snake, and then I wanted to attack the most powerful person in the world.
Nah, that was just the aftermath.
Well, if he said it's nothing to worry about, then that's nothing to worry about.
By telling him to stop worrying. He's no help to Harry
and
whatsoever.
Again, this dude is in his early 30s, and he has spent 14 years in Azkaban. He does not have children of his own. He's still dealing with his. I don't expect the most sage wisdom from this dude. It's just the smartest guy we know said, don't worry about it. That's all I can say is don't worry about it.
And in turn makes Harry struggle worse. Sirius could have literally calmed him down so easily as he did in the movie, but instead he's once again.
I don't think he could have.
No, because what Harry's framing of what happened is different,
completely different
from the. He feels like he's a bad person in the film, whereas in the book he feels like he has something inside of him that's causing him to do these things. Like he is the snake and such. And Sirius is going, no, don't worry about that. You're in shock. You need rest. It's different answers because the situation that Harry presented is different. The vulnerability Harry shows is different.
What if after everything that I've been through, something's gone wrong inside me? What if I'm becoming bad?
No, that's a totally different framing of it.
Completely different.
He said he wanted to attack Dumbledore, and Dumbledore said, don't worry. Sirius said, don't worry about it. If Dumbledore thought it was a problem, he would have told you. You're in shock. You need rest. Let's get you that rest.
I'm going to get I don't want to play it because that seems like we get done up.
I mean, it is what it is at this point. Oh
my goodness. I'm looking for the script. Can you help me with the script? Oh my, there's no website that's good. Here we are. I hope. Gone Bad? Excellent. What did you say?
What if after everything that I've been through, something's gone wrong inside me? What if I'm becoming bad?
Yeah, what if... Oh my god, DA, what do you need this script for?
I don't want to play it because we.
Why wouldn't you look at the transcript?
I'm looking. Oh well, I don't. You can't. I don't think you can do it on.
Yeah, you can. That's just.
Oh my goodness! There it is, right there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that helps. Somewhat. Yeah, it's gonna help.
Future things.
Yeah.
You can't search. Hey, that has nothing to do with me, buddy. That's
is.
YouTube being YouTube.
Spanish auto-generated.
That's crazy. But yeah, you can look up the transcript.
Musica. We're just gonna play.
Yeah, at this point, we are what we are.
When I saw Mr. Weasley attacked, I wasn't just watching. I was the snake. And afterwards in Dumbledore's office, there was a moment when I wanted to...
Pretty good job from Daniel Radcliffe.
This connection between me and Voldemort.
You wanted to what? Oh, that takes away a big part of things.
Yeah, it really does.
What if the reason for it is that I am becoming more like him?
In the book, he doesn't mention anything about becoming more like Voldemort.
At all.
Doesn't mention a connection.
I just feel so angry.
He mentions his feelings, something that he didn't do in the book. This is a completely different conversation.
Yeah, so the answers are going to be different.
All the time. And what if after everything that I've been through...
You're not a bad person. You're a very good...
You see how he doesn't address the whole Voldemort connection?
None of
doesn't
that.
address the snake thing?
Only
What'd you say about Dumbledore?
The last thing of am I becoming a bad person or am I a bad person?
world isn't split into good people and their victims. We've all got both light and dark inside us.
This is an
entirely different thing. This is such a nurturing uncle when, again, we've not seen this.
No. You could say you prefer this based on the Sirius you have in your mind. But from everything we've seen, Sirius is reckless. He's conniving.
What matters is the power we choose to act on. That's who we really are.
Harry! Hey! Dumbledore said that same thing in like book 2! No, book 1! It's our choices! You chose Gryffindor, that's why you're not in Slytherin! That's what matters!
Yeah, this is such a crazy...
selfish and just disregards Harry. In another instance, Sirius goes on to literally scream at Harry when he asked a simple question about his family, something that takes Harry aback, and should take the audience aback, because this is not the Sirius we're used to. I know there are—
What is the Sirius we're used to?
What scene is he talking about?
I don't know, actually.
logical reasons why he's grumpy and angry all the time, and it didn't just come out of nowhere. But at the same time, I wish Rowling would have taken a different approach with his character, especially because he ends up dying at the end of the book, and all we remember is him being a jerk to Harry, being insensitive, and him whining all the time.
If that's all we remember, why is he still a character you like based on other works, if this is all you're gonna remember by him?
It's not that his death isn't powerful, but I think it would have been more powerful if we had grown to love him more in this book, rather than grow to dislike him, or how I should say it, dislike the way he's acting. I think his death in the movie is far better, because they did just that. They made us fall in love with Sirius more, and
that's emotional manipulation, which is something films and media is meant to be. But this is a really easy thing to do, to give a character a lot of scene where they're doing a lot of things that you love and then kill them.
And it makes a lot more sense for, number one, for Harry to be worried about that he's actually in the Department of Mysteries, because he's so stir crazy that he would go out there.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, it makes more sense when he comes. It's more powerful when Sirius actually comes at the end, because he's disregarding all that for his godson. So it's more powerful than just, yes, of course he was gonna come because he's so kind and nurturing and everything.
Therefore, it was more gut-wrenching when he faded away.
Well, yeah, it was this big, sad, slow scene.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna be more gut-wrenching. It's just poof to the chest, he's knocked back. Even reading it, I was like, he's dead? When Lupin's like, he's gone, I'm like, what the f?
Because we don't know what that veil is.
Yeah, no.
One of the worst things in the entire Harry Potter series is SPEW, Hermione's organization to help house elves, when in reality, they don't want to be helped. It was formed in Goblet of Fire, and it was very annoying there, but it was bearable. However, it
was bearable because I say that it was bearable. Doesn't talk about how much time it took.
Hermione spew?
Yes.
How could you be?
Like this.
It gets so much worse.
Look at it. They don't want to be freed, all right? Let them be slaves.
He can't.
I'm simply going. He goes, in Goblet of Fire, it was bearable.
Why? When it was the most in Goblet of Fire. It's where it started. It
doesn't talk about how it was implemented. Doesn't talk about how long it's been going on or how much book time it takes up.
She's rattling them in badges everywhere she goes.
Order of the Phoenix. Every night, Hermione knits and puts clothes out for the house elves, hoping that when they clean the common room, they pick it up and are set free. Because if they are given clothing, they're set free, as we saw with Dobby.
No, the master needs to set them free.
There are just so many problems with this. If the elves did pick them up, the school would kind of be screwed, because they would lose the cleaners, the cooks, and the creatures that basically keep the—
Oh no! They lost their slaves! That's such a problem! My God, what would they do if they had to pay like witches and wizards to cook and clean for the students as opposed to the slave labor they have.
But Barnaby, where would we get our cotton? That's your argument. You can't free them muffs. I need wool.
You see them sheets you sleeping on?
Where do you think they came from?
We used to sleep on hay. You want to go back to that?
Or you trying to pick this yourself? But yes, if they do lose them, that offers employment opportunities for witches and wizards. Or
employment opportunities for the households.
And there's also the fact that things could just be whooshed away with a wand. So this would take seconds.
School running. All but one of the house elves actually stopped cleaning the Gryffindor common room because of Hermione's clothes.
So if it only takes one house elf to do all of Gryffindor common room,
because it's not even like they were like, oh, it looks a little shabbier than usual,
and this is for weeks on end, in addition to his normal house elf slave work. That seems like it's not a whole lot to do.
Slave work, because he does.
Yes. That is it's very unfair. Let's put it that way.
Dobby picks them up every night and is now the only one that cleans it. But because her clothes are gone every morning, Hermione thinks that she freed all of these house elves and screwed the school over, and she's proud of it.
She doesn't think that she screwed the school over. She thinks that the school is using slave labor.
And she's setting them free. She feels like she's doing a good thing by giving the house elves their freedom because she believes they actually do want to be freed.
Hermione's a smart girl, smarter than average. She should know that the whole SPEW thing is a dumb idea.
Hey, gay people, stop fighting for your marriage. I don't want to see that. It's a dumb idea. This is basically what you're saying. Who gives a if
Hermione is a smart girl, smarter than average, so she should know that going to a ball with a dude would not make Ron jealous in the way that she wanted.
I'm just angry that he doesn't see that these are slaves.
Yeah, no, he's looking past
it's pissing me off.
The
like
slavery thing.
He's literally fighting against the rights of people.
And a girl going, this isn't right, and everybody going, well, whatever. And it just not making sense to her, which it should not make sense to any logical person. Harry should also be like, this doesn't make any sense, because he grew up in the Muggle world, and not like with Ron, where you're just like, oh, those are just house elves. He is introduced to them almost at the same time as Hermione, so they should have an equal amount of thought with just, this ain't right.
A MovieFlame. If you went to a village where every third month they threw a child, an infant, into a volcano, and you tried to change it, how would you feel if a month went, you're smarter than average, you have to know it's a dumb idea to stop their customs of throwing children in volcanoes?
You are chosen to go into the volcano, and the child cheers. And it's just like that. This is what they want.
The children want it. The people want it. What's the issue?
Who are you to say don't do this? This is very much Genlock season 2 with the suicide bots, where they just go, I'm gonna be ascended, hooray!
And moms were like, that's not a good look. Yeah. Oh, but no, it is.
No, but
it's the best choice.
Yeah, no, everybody in the world is ascended now, and they're all cyber, and it turned out to be the best way.
Yep. They were right all along.
Die.
That's the way it goes.
Die by your own hand.
Yep. That's
the only way to become the best you.
That's the story of Genlock.
Yep. That literally, there is no further.
Where is season 3?
That's all that we can take from this. The world is this now, and everybody's happy and cool now.
And even more, she should be able to see that house elves enjoy working and don't want to be set free.
This is literally analogous to houseness.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally analogous to this.
Yes, it is. And what is her thing? They think they like being working.
Because this is all they've known.
That's all that they know. Give them a better way. Of course, they're not going to choose this option to just be free to the unknown. So once they do have that by accident, then they will see that there are other options.
Lupe Fiasco has a song. One of the verses, one of the bars is about a preacher touching a kid, and the kid thinks it's normal because they do it all the time, and that's what it is. Wizards have normalized slavery,
Indoctrination,
and they've indoctrinated the house elves into believing they want to be slaves.
And we don't know anything about their culture or anything, so we can't say anything other than the ones that they are already indoctrinated. So,
what made Dobby any different? Because I'm sure there's other house elves that are treated as poorly as him, if not worse.
He's the weirdo.
He's just a weirdo.
In order to properly do their job, they must learn how to read and write. Is that a house elf thing, that there is a house elf school? Or is that upon the master to teach them to read and write?
No.
And if that's
they
the
would
case,
go learn to read and write. And because they're house elves, they would be compelled to learn how to read and write.
And if it was up to the master, they wouldn't be like, Winky is doing this. They would speak properly. But we don't see that from house elves.
No.
So they must have their... Do they have their own language?
I've never heard a house elf speak their own language.
But the only time we see house elves speaking with each other is when our humans are around.
That doesn't mean anything.
So they...
We heard goblins speak gobbledygook.
I feel like if Winky was so drunk, she would have reverted back to her natural tongue.
So they're mentally, they're all this. Master is and Winky is.
This is the only thing that you are. You are meant to serve house elf. And if you are set free, that is the deepest disgrace that a house elf can be. And that is just put into them. So of course they're going to believe this. And then if they have no other way, then that's the only thing that they're going to see. And they're not going to want to lose that.
Hey, marginalized people. It's stupid for somebody to fight for your rights.
This is not the argument that you want to make.
No. You know what? They're either so dumb they don't recognize it, or they're so wholesome that they don't recognize it. They only see it as the fiction in front of them, as opposed to the greater implications.
No deeper themes into. There's nothing to look into this. This is surface level, and they like it. So why is she trying to take away their joy?
There are some other very cringy things in this book, like the Weasley is Our King song. The song that Malfoy made up to throw Ron off.
That is a 15-year-old boy
mocking another 15-year-old boy.
And it works.
Yeah. Because he is thrown the off by it.
Weasley was born in a bed. Weasley will make sure we will win. That's why we Slytherin sing, Weasley is our king.
He cannot block a single ring. That's why Slytherins all sing.
And his criticism is cringy.
Yeah.
That's the beginning, middle, and end of it. That's all. I've got nothing to say about this other than it's cringy.
Yeah, I would assume. You think that romance bush in the 6th book wasn't cringy?
Ginny just running through muffs?
During Quidditch matches. And though I liked the way the Gryffindors turned it around, it was something that I never really liked, and was one of the reasons why I was glad that they cut Quidditch from this film. I just found the whole thing sort of ridiculous, and honestly, just straight up cruel. And how the professors don't—
It is cruel!
Oh my goodness, Draco Malfoy! Cruel by singing a song! And there's so much competition, even between Snape and McGonagall. I find it weird that Madame Pomfrey is never like, oh, go ahead. Because she's not a character.
Yeah, no.
Flitwick is never like, hey, we're going to win.
Because Hufflepuff is not a house. That's what Ravenclaw is not a house.
But yeah, McGonagall and Snape, they have that rivalry of the cup thing. So even within them,
I've gotten quite used
to seeing that cup in my office. So this is a competition Why would you not try to throw a person off in a legal? It's not like they rocked up there in Dementor's garb again. They're just singing and they have a badge.
It's no different than going to in basketball or hockey or football, imagine banging or chanting a player's name derisively. Or booing them.
Because it's cruel. Hey, these guys are just doing their best. Don't boo these people.
Lions with 016 Green Bay Packers fans as Lions players, grown men are crying on the field, are chanting 016.
That's just funny.
It wasn't to me.
Hey man, down.
Just 016 months crying on the field.
Yeah, you're only allowed to cheer for your team. No booing for the other team.
This is goofy.
Who is you? Have you ever done anything?
Muff and soccer hooligans stab each other. Oh, but my God, they created a song to knock Ron off mentally. How cruel. They didn't include mud, blood, or any type of thing like that.
They just talked about how poor he is and how much he sucks at
and he stinks.
Both things they can observe with their eyes.
I just found the whole thing sort of ridiculous, and honestly, just straight up cruel. And how the professors don't step in to put a stop to this is
Hey! Stop all that singing!
Why? Is it against the rules? Are we breaking anything? Oh.
Well, it's making him feel bad. But, Professor, don't tell them that.
Look at him. He's weeping on his broom. I've never seen anything like it. Humiliation is the only
exposing all of his faults and flaws and his insecurities. Do you realize what you're doing?
He won't be able to eat or sleep tonight for the weeping.
Oh, I suppose you're going to make fun of his red hair now.
Oh my God. Pippi Longstocking. I don't know who that is. It's just a name that pops into my head, but it feels right.
Y'all gonna say that to him? Make him cry more?
Oh, Farkle's pop marks. Oh my God. Is his mom's dumpy, or is she not a good person so we could just say fat?
Beyond me. Another thing I didn't like was Harry literally attacking and punching Malfoy after a Quidditch match. Malfoy was just doing what he was always doing. He was bullying and pushing Harry's buttons by any means necessary.
And Harry has been angry all year because of the influence of Voldemort and all that stuff. And he said, yo mama dead, and the Weasley twin, yo mama trash.
And at the end of 2 separate books, Malfoy rocks up into a cabinet and starts talking, and then they curse him to the point where it's just like, oh, he looks more like a slug than a human. But this is just him punching him as opposed to him doing curses on him. They don't hold back.
He slashed him in the 6th book. Slashed that man almost to death.
And he's just, I remember, Malfoy was just like, yeah, the Weasley's house stank. And I'm sure you're used to that, Potter, because your mama house stank.
Oh, wait. You wouldn't know that. Because she did.
So not only is he insulting your essentially adoptive family, but it's also your dead mama with the influence of Voldemort and the anger that he feels constantly throughout this year.
I mean, Ron tried to curse him in the 2nd year.
The 2nd book.
There is no difference between pulling your wand out and pulling your fists out.
And the reason why Jenny was in the Slug Club because she did the back bogey hex. Why couldn't you just hold it in? No. When it comes to go time, it's go time.
And this time around, he was talking about his mother, something that he's done so many times.
He has never, ever talked about Harry's mom before this moment, as far as I know.
Outside of just like, you're going to end up like your parents, Potter, dead. But that's not referencing his parents.
But here, Rowling has Harry go out of character and not just hit Malfoy once, but hit him many, many times.
Once would have been in character.
Oh, one and done Potter, that's what they call him.
Oh, I suppose you guys are gonna make a song about that too.
Jenny's unsatisfied. One and done, Potter. Who you telling?
Oh, how does she?
The future?
Her head of house. Why is she?
So hard that he bruised his knuckles on Malfoy's jaw.
Good.
Me personally, and it's fine if you disagree with me, because as I said, everyone views these books differently, but I think this is very out of character. Why is it that this is what makes Harry snap? A line that is not even close to the worst thing Malfoy has said about him or his parents. We know for sure that this wasn't Voldemort's influence on his anger the way it was a bunch of other times in this book, but it was just Harry and Harry alone.
Why do we know that?
Yeah, no.
How was that Harry and Harry alone?
When he was like, who would dare make Ron prefect? Was that Voldemort's influence, or was that from Harry's mind? What's the difference?
What are we
basing this on?
Boy, I sure do like just saying things and just establishing, and then that's my point that I said it.
I can see Harry making a move at Malfoy, which I actually praised in the film with Ron holding him back, but it's clear that at the most, he would have hit him once the way Hermione did in the third book. But
yeah, that's clear that he would have done that.
In the third book, she kept slapping him!
Yep.
She punched him once in the movie! Mister, I've read this so many times! He slapped him, she wound up to slapping him again, did it again, and eventually they held her back.
He has a problem with the number of hits to this dude that talked about his dead mama.
Dude.
This is crazy.
Muffs do this. Muffs kill over their alive mama being talked about. You're talking on my dead mama and you think we're going to be cool with this?
And
you think I'm going to sit down?
The most evil muff in the world.
Fred was ready to beat the shit out of him, and he was holding him back.
Out of him.
And then he was like, "Nope, you talking about my mama too? I guess we just wailing."
But in the fifth book, this is on another level of brutality.
Hey, look, because George is being held back by the others.
Yes.
There were 3 mothers trying to punch him
because he's just talking. Get hit.
Get hit.
That I don't like to see from our main hero. I feel that like the Weasley is our king song, it just promotes bullying and violence. Something that the series is pretty good.
Hey,
I think that
sometime you gotta punch a bully in the mouth.
Yeah, I think that dissuades bullying because he bullied him and then he got punched. If you're a bully, you're going, hey, wait a second.
Maybe I don't want to get punched in the mouth.
If it's not like a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Muffs. All these teachers have heard or know Malfoy calls people mudbloods and all this stuff. They've seen him hex people, and he just gets turned into a fairy, and it's all this fun and games and bullshit and detention or whatever. No, sometimes, and he keeps doing it. So hey, I'm gonna punch you in the motherfucking mouth. I've tried so many other avenues. Other people have punished you, and it's not sticking. So maybe my fist will.
At avoiding for the most part, sticking to magical fights. There are a few moments here and there, but in those fights, it's Mr. Weasley just pushing Mr. Malfoy with no hitting, or it's Neville standing up to his bullies who physically torment him pretty often, but it's never vicious fighting the way we see it here. And again, you might completely disagree with me.
Hey, I feel like Superman is seen as one of the most righteous and virtuous people in history. This mother saw a kid was getting beat. He walked right up to the dad and was about to break him in. Some mothers need a lesson.
Or perhaps, said Malfoy, leering as he backed away, you can remember what your mother's house stank like, Potters. Weasley pigsty must remind you of it. Harry was not aware of releasing George. All he knew that a second later, both of them were sprinting at Malfoy. He had completely forgotten about all the teachers were watching. All that he wanted to do was cause Malfoy as much pain as possible. With no time to draw out his wand, he merely drew back his fist, clutching the snitch and sank it as hard as he could into Malfoy's stomach. There was no time.
No.
And this is a lot more raw and visceral than he just put the leg locker curse on him. Ooh, and he fell over with jelly legs.
Because a lot of times when that happened, it's seen as some jovial act and everyone's ha ha ha. No.
This is his knuckles were bruised from his jaw.
Hey, what Malfoy is doing is not jovial. It's not cool. The schoolyard bullies. Mugs need to get punched sometimes. Mugs need to get real hexes put on them sometimes. They need to get
taught.
This specific critique is pretty opinionated, and ironically, it's probably going to be the most controversial topic I discuss in this video. Moving on to something else that I think is just beyond awful in this book is Cho Chang. In The Goblet of Fire, she was a good solid character that was likable to readers, but in the Order of the...
She had like 2 scenes and Harry was pining after her going, she sure is pretty.
Yeah, she didn't have any type of character in the 4th book.
And this is, again, just like with Spew, where he goes, that was tolerable over there. She was good in the 4th book, but in this one, she sucks.
Phoenix, you just hate her. She's crying all the time. She's back and forth.
Yes, Hermione literally explains the reason why she's crying all the time.
Her boyfriend died like 5 months ago. By the time we get to the school, it's been 3 months since her boyfriend died, who was, let us never forget, the most important thing to him.
She was, when they got under the water, it was, we're taking your most important thing, and that was Cho. So, and
Harry's was his friend. Victor was a girl. He said, I've never felt like this about anybody else. Fleur was her sister. Cedric's was Cho. And she lost that mother. And the person that saw him die is the guy she likes right now.
And she likes him. She doesn't want to be seen as like a fame hog. Like Hermione said, she's dealing with her owl stuff. You got Umbridge breathing down the back of your neck at all times.
She can see it as a disrespect to Cedric's memory.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on. It's not just boyfriend now.
Feelings for Harry, and of course she has reason to be after losing her boyfriend Cedric, but she goes on to try and use Harry to help her through her grief, and then gets mad at him when he can't do it.
I don't think that's what's happening here.
Because even in the 7th book, she still likes him and she tries to go to the Ravenclaw Tower with him, and Jenny's like, nah, bitch. Nah, I see them schemes.
Yes.
Turn that around.
I see you putting on them knee pads.
Knee Guardian Leviosa, huh? Nah.
Folded up a poster of what that mouth do.
First place, Harry.
Just saying. What that mouth do?
It will never not be
Man.
the greatest thing to ever come out of Detroit, Michigan. What that mouth do?
Which every time I read this, just always made me so mad. This is especially true when
that is your interpretation of what's going on.
Yes.
It cannot simply be that she actually did like Harry for the whole time. But
which she does, because after the disaster of a Valentine, she sees him in the hall after the interview, just like, I didn't even know you were going through all of this. It was so great, blah, 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 blah. And she's back with him. She's good again.
But it could have just been that Cedric got to her first. So she just went, okay, yep, I like him too. But now that he dead,
I still like Harry.
Go on their Valentine's date, where on top of talking and crying about Cedric, she tells Harry that she was asked out by Roger Davies, who was sitting right next to them kissing another girl, and she eventually gets up, yells at Harry, then
You are completely misconstruing, leaving out so much.
Hermione literally says, again, she was trying to make you jealous to see if you actually like her, all this other got mad that you wanted to come see me.
Mention another girl.
Should have talked about how ugly I was. Should have complained that you made the plans before the ones with Cho.
And it wasn't going well. They talked about long stretches of silences.
out, leaving Harry there highly embarrassed. There's just so much relationship drama in this book that I personally am not a fan of.
But you were a fan of the sixth.
It was done well. It was
wasn't.
done perfectly in the sixth book.
It was awful in the
perfect.
sixth. Yeah, purring.
They're friends, then they're dating, then they get into a fight, then Cho apologizes to Harry, then they have another fight, and then Cho ends up with Ginny's ex-boyfriend. And through it all, Cho does nothing but cry. When I made my
That is crazy to just completely disregard. How many times you said that you read this and that's all that you got?
I think on screen she cried once in the fifth book. And no, not even on screen. Yeah, there were tears in her eyes when she started kissing Harry.
And Hermione says she's always
No, but on screen. Because that was Hermione on the... Yeah, she's been crying all over the place.
I think that's what he's saying. That's what his mind is going to.
But she doesn't when we see her. That's my point. She's annoyed of what's going on with her supposed boyfriend.
I think she might have cried when at the end of the Valentine's.
Maybe.
Video about her, a lot of you agreed with me in the comments, making fun of her crying, saying that she was too much, this and that, and it's clear that it's not just me.
Cho is a crybaby because she's crying over a dude she loved dying not even a year ago.
I like how he's going to the comments going, you guys agree with me, but he's surprised that people think the fifth book is their favorite. Are you just like, yep, comments are always right, or what? People like things?
This is so frustrating.
Yeah, this dude is crazy.
That feels this way, but many other people as well. Cho and all of the relationship drama was just too much for me, especially when it's badly written. But again, that's just my opinion.
And you think the sixth book was well written with the romance? I gotta see if he has a video on the romance of the sixth book.
Some of you might like the relationship. For me, though,
no, they're 15-year-olds that Harry had never dated anybody,
and both of them are dealing with a lot of stuff.
And it fell apart, and they were on again, off again, and awkward.
It's very Hey Arnold, where it was just like, I admire this person from afar, and then once we start talking, it's like, oh, there's not too much here. And then you go towards a person that you do have that connection with. Ginny Weasley, who we all know with their very connected, shared likes, such as Quidditch.
That he didn't even know she played.
And the Weasleys.
Which she is part of.
Mm-hmm. And Exploding Snap. A game which everyone plays.
I don't even know if you're lying. I don't know.
Plays Exploding.
No, I mean with her liking it.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. Did she play wizard chess? I don't.
Ron would have had to have somebody to practice. How did he get so good?
It's probably some old... No, I think even Harry noted that the chessboard they had, the pieces were all beat up.
No,
so it's probably
so I'm wondering who... Maybe Percy.
Oh yeah, Percy definitely is in there with that. I mean, even
or maybe
Charlie or Bill was head boy, so...
Or maybe just like he played against himself and can now visualize all of where the pieces and go in the best possible.
Putting what I think to be the poorly written Harry and Cho's relationship side by side with the very well written Harry and Ginny arc, it's
very well written. Of the monster and oh, she sure is pretty, and I don't like that black boy kissing up on him.
Yep, and that was the basis of their relationship.
And then it was just like, dang, I'm glad because I never gave up on you.
And now we're together, and we get like 2 pages of them in a relationship. And then we're breaking up.
Clear that the 5th book lacked the charm that the 6th book captured so well.
Yep, so well. Lacked a charm. You are so correct. I can just say words and not explain them, and that means I'm right.
That love story. Anyway, I saved the biggest complaint I have about this book for
last. Why?
That's the one I have in my audiobooks. Oh yeah, I downloaded a bunch of them. They were fire.
Why
covers.
do all of them suck? I mean, why do ours suck and all of the other ones are great?
Maybe those were just first print Harry Potter books on
Yeah,
our
they
end.
were the old.
And then maybe these are like root collections or whatever, and they
and stuff like that. But surely back then, because if you look at Animorphs, them boys is banging.
Yeah, for the time, or for the time.
You telling me that they stamped the okay on that derpy muff in Hippogriff?
Sure.
Harry's in a Coliseum.
This is way too long ago. Okay. Yeah.
But that was another thing I wanted to do if we ran out of time. I was just like, let's go through all of the different, because there's like Chinese versions of their own. I love the coloring on that.
Yeah, dude. These are the ones I attached to my audiobooks. They're so good.
I should have done that because I was so sick of just seeing derpy fourth book Harry. Man, these are very good.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one I used for that.
That red is very nice.
I love.
Boy, they sure do like this scene.
Of course, why wouldn't you? It's the crux of the whole thing. Love that one. Yeah, these are good in covers. Bangers.
Them covers are making it seem like these books are better than they are.
Isn't a cover supposed to do that?
Covers basically clickbait.
Legitimately. How many times have you been walking past a book, looked at a cover, and been like, "Oh, I have done it many a time," at least in the library.
And that is the final battle in the Department of Mysteries.
Hey, J.K. Rowling sucks at battles, period. Point blank, period. You don't even need to talk about it specifically in the 5th book. She is trash.
But he could be talking about stakes. He could be talking about the people there.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. My view of this sequence was heavily altered by the movie, which might not be fair when judging the book, but that's just how it is for me. I'm not gonna lie about that. In the film, I love the unity that the kids had. They're together for the whole battle, fighting side by side. Harry's forced.
But there's also something to be said about them splitting up and the worry about, I hope everybody's okay and I trust it. And the fact that they are able to live is because of Harry teaching them all the defense against dark arts stuff.
And Neville trying to prove himself with a bloody nose, just running around trying to go expelling alarmists and can't do it because his mouth is all full of blood and
when Neville goes where Harry goes take Hermione and leave, Neville goes, nope, I'm staying with you. We'll carry Hermione.
Prophecy to save all of his friends, and then his friends return the favor, coming in just in time to save Harry.
No, this is filth. This is absolute filth.
Reminding him of the love inside of him, which...
Oh my god! Oh my god! Big D Voldemort! He returned! Nah, dude. Now I understand you gotta do something more visually but you could just have all the memories and do that. Because that's what it was, the grief of Sirius and all the people you could have. And you could have just did that visually with all the flashbacks. You didn't need them standing there looking down morosely at Harry.
In turn made Voldemort let Harry go. The sequence isn't too long, it's exciting, it's mysterious, and it's heartbreaking. But for me, the book did not deliver on any of these fronts. I think it's very long and it's very drawn out. Leading to the battle alone just took so long, and when we finally did get to the Department of Mysteries, I was so pumped and ready for a fight, but we still had a long way to go until we got to that.
So that's purely just, I didn't get what I want. Not that this is bad. I didn't get an instant fight.
It didn't come fast enough. And when it did come, we'll see what he says.
Fight. They find themselves in the circular room and have to figure out which door is the right one. It's almost like the mission in the first book where they had to get through those obstacles to make it to the stone. But here it doesn't work like that. In the first book, each one of them had to step up and do what they were good at. But here, they're just guessing.
Nah, even that was bush. Harry flying around for the key. That a broom's just, come on, no, there's just
which door it is and not doing anything special. The sequence takes so long. They end up going to the circular room, make their way to the brain room, then back to the circular room, then to the death chamber, back to the circular room, then to the time room, and then...
Yeah, because they touch all those locations when the battle starts.
And then we go back to it and see those things.
Because at least in our mind, we can potentially map out where each character is or what's going on when Harry's running through the places and to get to Bellatrix and that type of stuff.
into the Hall of Prophecies.
And in order to defeat a lot of them, they use those things like the chicken thing where your baby head.
Yeah, time turner.
Instead of just stupefying, it's just like, well, these 15-year-olds beat these Death Eaters.
It's, hey, all this stuff around Muff fell into the time turner, so he's just done.
And they're gone now.
That's a lot of things to delay the action the audience has been waiting for the last 3.5 chapters. This is
it's not. I, as the audience, was not looking for action. I'm looking for, what is this place? This is the Department of Mysteries, and they're looking around like, this is a lot of weird stuff. And it speaks to that Department of Mystery thing. They don't.
My thing was, how are they going to save Sirius? And then when Sirius isn't there, it's really worrying. And I started to feel panic that this is a trap.
There's a lot of things going on there. There's no people there yet for the action.
Example of bad pacing in this book, and it drains the excitement the audience was feeling.
No, you just wanted action. You thought they would land, see Voldemort, and start swinging their wands or whatever. I was like, where's Sirius? Is he hurt? Is he dead? How are they going to save
him? They're split up now. I hope that Luna Lovegood is okay.
Yeah, her and Neville, and parts of Hermione. Any of that, and I would have been like, nah, I'm good on this series.
And to me, this just left me frustrated. Sure, it was cool to get a tour through the Department of Mysteries, but this was not the time to do it. It takes away from the excitement of the climax.
No, because it adds to the climax when they start using those things. Because otherwise, you go into the brain room, they gotta describe the brain room so you can get a picture in your head of what the brain room is.
This is pure and simple.
Get to it
by the movies of they went down an elevator right into the prophecy room.
Also, the Department of Mysteries doesn't really pay off. We don't see it again for the rest of the series, and it might make some good lore.
The book, the Half-Blood Prince book never pays off. No. When are they gonna go back to the Department of Mysteries? What are they gonna do? Throw Voldemort into the veil? It probably would have worked, but why would they get him there? Doesn't matter. But like this is a location in a ministry building that doesn't really affect what the characters are going through.
We had to spend all that time in Voldemort's dad's death place, the graveyard and all that. And the payoff is he got a bone from the grave. It's not like we ever went back there. Why do we need to go into the house? Why do we need to know about the old caretaker, really?
Hey, where's the Mirror of Erised?
We never go back to the Muggle Minister. Why do we need to go there? Why explore the relationship of the magical minister and the Muggle minister if it essentially equates to literal zero?
In the books, we never go back to the Chamber of Secrets. They just said they went back and got the Basilisk fame.
But the movie.
In the books, outside of the Cursed Child, we never go back underneath the lake. We do in the Cursed Child.
Have to.
When they go back underneath the lake.
It's multiple times.
We know that scene.
Even made an entire 13-minute video on it. But ultimately, the only thing this really added was having the Time Turners be destroyed, Rowling saying that they left too many plot holes. But then she made the Cursed Child canon, and made the Time Turners come back. So the one thing it added to the story is now irrelevant. But I'm not going to talk about the Cursed Child.
You could say that it adds to the world of Harry Potter. There are bits of magic that even these highly trained ministry wizards do not understand. And they are exploring this in the Department of Mysteries.
As you all know how I feel about that book. There were also some weird moments in the sequence that I felt didn't feel like Harry Potter. And again, this is just my view on the book. You could disagree with.
You can stop saying that my view, you can disagree. Stop that shield bullshit and just speak your truth.
With me. But the Death Eater with the baby head walking around like a zombie just felt like something that didn't belong in a Harry Potter book. And the same goes for Ron.
Why not?
Yeah, you're not explaining why not. We've seen super weird things happen in Harry Potter. Because this is a serious moment?
Blast and Discroots are between a slug, a crab, and they explode.
Shellless and all this bullshit.
So loopy that he calls a vicious brain toward him and gets wrapped up by its tentacles. Sure, this is entertaining, but this isn't the action I wanted, especially when I'm so eager for the
So
climax.
that's a difference from the criticism that you laid before.
Hey.
This doesn't feel like Harry Potter, and then it combos into, this isn't what I wanted.
Does this feel like Harry Potter? This movie?
And I've been waiting 3.5
Cause that whooshing, I always hated that whooshing.
Yeah, no. Is this what Harry Potter feels like? What painted your view of this being Harry Potter?
At this point, 4.5 chapters for it.
They are just throwing spells.
And then one of them hits, and then one of them falls over it, and I did it.
As I said, in the movie, they kept the kids together and showed unity, and that was arguably the best part of the sequence for me.
How did they show unity? By being together?
But in the book, they split the kids up, and they have no unity whatsoever. The 6 start off together.
That's crazy, because when the Death Eaters are there, and they have the prophecy, Harry, I remember he reaches for a foot, steps on it, and hears Hermione. He's just like, okay, that's Hermione. Smash the prophecies. And then she passes the message, and then they do it.
But then Harry, Hermione, and Neville split up from the other 3, and it eventually comes down to just Harry and the Death Eaters when Lucius asked for the prophecy. In the movie, Harry handed it over to save his friends who were all around him in terrible danger, but in the book, his friends were all left behind. And sure, Neville eventually comes back and pretty much screws everything up, breaking the prophecy and making it impossible for Harry to get him out of there because he was hit by a curse that made his feet dance.
It wasn't impossible, they got out.
Stop. I feel as though the book doesn't carry the same sense of danger, excitement, and camaraderie that the film did. And now that I've been...
The same sense of danger in what way? Ron's wrapped up in a brain, and
they don't know where he is. Ginny's ankle is broken.
Harry stumbles over somebody. He's just like, I don't know whose body that was. I hope it wasn't one of ours.
Hermione got hit with a purple lightning that we do not know what that is. All we know is that she's breathing.
Spoiled by the film, I can never see the book the same again because the film outdid it by so much. Overall, I love this book.
That is just pure and simple the movie. He can't form his opinion against what the book is doing wrong without referencing the movie. He can't like it can be done better this way and not think of the movie. That shows a complete lack of proper criticisms from this person.
Which is funny because in our 10-hour thing, we were able to separate both movies and books. And it's not hard to do in terms of criticism. So just do that. I never went, oh my God, the movie was so much better in this aspect. And that's why the book is the poo. I went, the book is the poo because of these reasons. Now, it may have been done better in the movie, but that doesn't mean nothing because the book is poo.
For every bad thing that I pointed out, there are 3 good things. I literally made a whole video on how this book encases the most important conversation in the Harry Potter series, and I can't praise it enough. But this video was about the flaws I saw in the book, and was my argument on why
if one of the flaws is Harry shouldn't have hit Malfoy so much.
Hey, if one of the flaws is just let the slaves be enslaved.
Oh boy.
I believe this was the weakest of the 7 in the series. I'm sure
you can't read the 6th book and believe that.
With a straight face. You can't read the first book and just go, yeah, fluffy.
You can't read the 4th book and think that. What was the action and the excitement? This month went underground, blasted away some Grindylows, and then got laughed at by mer people.
That boy went on for a long time.
For nothing.
I'm sure many of you will disagree, and I'm sure many of you will agree, but I gave my argument and gave my points on why I feel the way I do.
That felt good.
Not good. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Purple, that maroon sweater with an orange shirt, that is certainly a choice, Ron.
Oh yeah, no. This man is not doing no... Because Harry's in blue and blue, Hermione's in pink and pink, and this mother just like, yeah, here we go.
Not good. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. You can follow me on social media to see more of my personal life and see more of this little dude. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook for MovieFlame updates. And I want to give a huge shout out to all my patrons listed below. If you want to be featured in the next video, plus get a bunch of other rewards, become a patron today. Again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you press that like button and subscribe. And look out for more great videos on the way.
8,
9.
There you go. Yeah, that's stunk. That's stunk on ice.
The boy, that is I would like to hear his other criticisms about the other books, if this is the level that he has for his least favorite. It's essentially 5 things: pacing, serious, didn't act in the way that I thought he should have acted, spew, slaves, the ending.
God of Fire's least favorite movie.
Because it's horrible.
Every single difference. Easter eggs. Chamber Secrets, underrated Potter film. Best book. Differences. Best film. The brilliance of Harry Potter movies.
A
Cinematic.
masterpiece in filmmaking. Go up. Okay.
Because it sucks. Oh.
Favorites. Next is the Goblet of Fire book. This one expanded the universe so much.
He can't.
It expanded the universe by going, there are other wizard schools and these are 2 of them. Don't know anything about them.
Is that like the 3rd? Okay, hold on. 5th is the worst. Oh,
yeah, he could just be like 7th movie, and then number 8 is the first book, and
I'd really just like a list, but
go to the very end. Maybe he wraps it up.
And finally, the Half-Blood Prince book. This is
crazy.
Deathly Hollow's book.
Ties up every loose end.
It ties up every loose end. There is not a single tighter than muffin.
With Deathly Hallows book, and in the book, and later
5th movie, 3rd best Harry Potter media.
What's the second worst?
Next
since
is the Order of the Phoenix movie. This
bottom.
is in the series.
Others will tell him what his mother.
As Lupin and Siri, stacks with Bellatrix out here, but all in all, it's awful, and it's not just the worst, but it's 100 miles below the next entry on this list. Next is Fantastic Beasts. As I said in my review for this film,
the first Fantastic Beasts,
the 2018. Oh no. The second one was out.
I did enjoy it, but it just didn't capture the same magic that the other books and movies had. It was an introduction to a whole.
I liked it a lot.
This was in the second one came out in November 2018.
Still, Fantastic Beasts, the second
crazy.
worst.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Goblet of Goblet of Fire.
Goblet. Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's just trash.
Clearly. Ooh. I don't want to do that. I don't want to look at that. Oh yeah, he just stinks. He's just a Potter boy. Nope. I was wondering if he knew the old fanfic I had read about it.
Why would he?
Yeah. I thought he put it in the title. What? Yeah. No. Hunger Games and Harry Potter.
Why I use AI arts or
who is the worst character in all of Harry Potter books?
It depends on what he's meaning by worst, because he's got Umbridge up there.
But best and worst.
And I thought it would be a fun idea. Hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media in many different ways.
BetterHelp!
Adult life in general, work, and the started. First, we have the Philosopher's Stone, or if you're from America, the Sorcerer's Stone. For the best character, this was one of the hardest to choose because it's the introduction to pretty much every major
Okay, he's
end
going
of the
each
school
book.
year.
Yeah, no, that's right.
He does have one that's reacting to 30 Harry Potter plot holes.
I'm not trying to watch this, man, anymore.
Can we get a little bit of that?
Oh my god.
Oh, he's got timestamps as well. I can't wait for people to get a taste of Black Snape. Why couldn't Lily and James be their own secret keepers?
Okay, the first one. Why couldn't James and Lily be their own secret keepers? In order for the Fidelius charm to work, someone had to become the secret keeper. The Potters chose their then friend Wormtail, but it makes sense. If Lily was James's secret keeper and James was Lily's secret keeper, I don't think that breaks the rules of the Fidelius charm. So honestly, that's a genius idea that they definitely should have done. But at the same time, I will say that James and Lily were so reliant and so trusting of their friends.
No.
That's crazy. That's your excuse?
Oh, why didn't the twins see Ron? Why couldn't Harry see that? Why didn't the trio multiply their food?
Can we hear that? That is 40 seconds.
Why couldn't the trio multiply their food? According to Hermione, it was impossible to conjure food out of thin air. Yes. It could only be summoned, transformed, or multiplied. Harry, Ron, and Hermione could have easily been multiplying their supply for months without having to starve themselves, but for some reason the trio never did this during their travels in the Deathly Hallows. Honestly, and this is just a guess because I don't think that there's any proof for this, but I feel like the food wouldn't be as good if you multiplied it.
But they'd have it.
Yes.
They were eating moldy bread at Grimmauld Place, and Hermione was just doing her best with it. They'd have the food. Because in the 7th book, they note on the days where Muggs ain't eat, Ron was irritable as
And Hermione left money out when they went to the grocery store. So if this is his level of, I'm guessing this is what, could you continue to play? I might have to add this to the list.
But again, that wouldn't really matter to them because they were starving and would have eaten anything. Yes. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just never thought of it. Of course, Hermione probably would have thought of that, but I guess they just never thought of it. Next one.
She explained the fact that you can't conjure it from thin air, and she explained that you can multiply it, but they just didn't think to multiply it. Yeah, I might have to add this on.
We might need to put this.
Can we go one more that might catch our eye?
Why didn't Sirius use Polyjuice? That doesn't really matter. Why didn't the Ministry use in court cases? They said it could be beaten. The flaw with the 7 Potters. Not really. Barty Charles' voice. Whatever. Liquid Luck in the Battle of Hogwarts. That's a good one, but not good enough. How can Harry cut it? It doesn't matter. Why didn't destroy the Horcrux of Harry? Huh. Why didn't it? How did Ron and Hermione get back up when they went to the... It doesn't matter. How did Fred and George know how to get into the Marauders? It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but why didn't Voldemort make the unbreakable vow? How did the Death Eaters get their wand back after the Azkaban breakout? How did Hagrid fly to the Harry? Inconsistency using with magical painting. Why didn't Hogwarts do background checks on their professors? I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I mean, Moody. They know Moody. What are you talking about?
How was September 2nd always a Monday? Why didn't Voldemort steal the prophecy himself? How could Dennis Creevy go to Hogsmeade as a second year? Why did Charlie give Ron his wand? I feel like I want to listen to the twins.
Yeah.
All right, next one. How did Fred and George not spot Peter Pettigrew on the Marauders map? In The Prisoner of Azkaban, Fred and George Weasley gave Harry the Marauders map, a magical parchment on every night. It simply doesn't make sense that no one noticed Pettigrew's constant presence in Ron's room until Harry got a hold of the map. Well, I'm going to stop you right there because actually, Harry never saw Peter Pettigrew on the map in the book. And there's actually a really good explanation for this that I think is a fan theory. I know that Seamus Gorman made a video on it like years ago. I'm not sure
it's
if
not
it's
a really
his
good
theory or
explanation,
someone
is it?
else's, but the theory goes like this. The only people that can see the 4 Marauders on the map, that being Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, James Potter, and Peter Pettigrew, are those 4 people. So the fact that Harry
You
never
have no evidence for that.
It would make some modicum of sense though, because Snape used the map to see Remus.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, he saw Sirius.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope, that doesn't make any sense.
No, doesn't make sense. Debunked.
Or did he follow Remus?
But Remus is a marauder.
Oh, yep, that's true. Yeah. Nope, debunked. Cooked.
That don't.
Cooked.
That's no.
Peter Pettigrew is very important. The only person that saw Peter Pettigrew on the map was Remus Lupin, one of the Marauders. So that theory, I think JK should be like, yeah, that's canon. Let's go with that, because I do think that she didn't really think that through. And like, it's something that you would never think of as an author.
No, you should.
Yeah, you absolutely should. You should think of the mechanics of this. You set up in the same story that there is this map that says where everyone is, and there's also this muff that is a rat.
If nothing else, it should have been, it can't see animaguses.
Easy. Done.
It can only see, just like Dementors can't really see people, they can only really see their feeling. They can only see whatever, not the complexity
just
of human.
run it back and just say animals flat. Can't be, because it's like ants, termites.
Can't see Crookshanks on it.
Nothing.
Can't see.
Just
can't
no
see
animals. Only people. But
That's why
people.
That's why we couldn't see Rita Skeeter. That type of stuff.
Done.
So easy.
That's why Dementors don't show up. That's why ghosts don't show up.
Yeah, it can't never see peas on it. He's just around.
Yeah,
Like,
if this is his, I'm guessing, and this might be a fan theory. Yeah, this might have to go on the list.
Yeah, we might need to stream that at some point. But for now, we are out of here. Oh, regular revisited for the live stream?
Oh, finally.
Could it be? No DSP, no Harry Potter, just regular.
Watch that pieces triggered. Put out that Demon Slayer video on DSP Day. Watch.
We're not doing it on DSP.
Watch.
I was saying this in my mind. If he knew our schedule, the smartest thing to do would be to drop that bit mid-Sunday. Because if he drops it Wednesday, we record that day, so we would do it. Saturday, of course we would do it. It would have to be like we've already announced the stream.
Or just right after our stream ends.
Yeah.
The second it is. This Saturday stream.
And Muffs would just have to wait till Friday when we record, or Wednesday if we did a live stream, or Saturday.
Or an emergency revisited.
We would not do an emergency revisited for that.
Depends. Because, you know,
if the people say
pop off.
If they say it's worth doing an emergency on, we might do an emergency.
Run it back.
Run it back. All right. Yeah, we're out of here. Regular revisited Saturday. No real plan of what we're gonna do, what we're not gonna do. I'm gonna start rereading Demon Slayer in anticipation for this thing.
We need to set up the pop thing with the boys. The pop tier list.
Oh, yeah. All right, so
we should also buy the pops as well so we can taste them.
Yeah.
It's just like Black Mountain Dew. I don't remember that.
Yeah, we should try to find as many of these pops as we can. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that next week. Wait, when are you off, Keto? Because I can just stop whenever I care about it.
Easter.
And that is...
I think it's the 13th.
Of April?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll be after the April Fool's video. Yeah, so we can do it that weekend, the 19th. And then we could probably do the tier list on the 3rd. That'll give enough people, like 2 weeks to try every one of them or whatever.
Or we can just try them live.
We could try them live. Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe we do them live. Do it live. We'll discuss it with them. Well, we gotta get to the April Fool's video first. We're making all these future plans. This is a big one.
It's possible. We're good.
All right. Yep. So see y'all later.
Yeah, y'all don't deserve a clever weeble after 10 hours of Harry Potter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, with this in 12.
Boy, that episode. It is required viewing now.
You saw I was watching it as I had forgotten all about the greatest game of chess. It was a great game. The Bulgarian Open. How many times? That's hilarious,
man. And like I said, it's not even everything because I wanted to go into paintings. That don't make no sense.
We might need to do edited, scripted video on Harry Potter.
It's rough.
Where it's just like 2 hours condensed.
It's rough.
It's not a good series, y'all.
No, it is not.
All right.
All right. Take your wee woo and get the out. We back. We never left, but we kind of did.